Hi, Kristen.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How's business?
Could be better.
It always can be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got buyers dragging their feet, so I'm
Yeah.
going to have to, I don't know, talk with Lisa or somebody about what can I do to bring them back into it.
Moving them along. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear ya. It's hard when there's no inventory out there, you know?
Yeah. It's amazing how little inventory is.
Now you have to go get the listings instead,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby steps with me.
All good. All good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this class. I attended your class way back when we could actually be face to face, and
Yeah.
so this is a good reminder to,
Good reminder.
to get me
Yeah.
going on it.
Some other things that I'll add in here too.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, actually I'm gonna actually upload something too. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Let's see if I know how to do that. Let's see. Oh no, I go to the chat box. File. I just uploaded a farming packet. Hopefully you guys can all see it. Sometimes some people can see it, sometimes other people can't. I don't know why. It's weird.
Okay.
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Kristen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you.
Good. Thanks for turning your cameras on. I don't want to look at myself the whole time. Hi, Justin.
Hi, Kristen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm excited.
Yes. Is this the first time you've taken this class?
The first.
Nice.
I'm very
Awesome.
intrigued.
Awesome. Awesome. Who's 2779? That's on the phone. Oh, it's you, Kathy? I can't hear you, but oh, okay. Gotcha.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, I was muted. Sorry. Yeah, I
That's-
connect to my phone.
Gotcha. Okay, no problem. Hey, Shirley.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? Good. You know, as usual, we'll wait a couple minutes to get everybody on before we start. But I did upload a packet for you guys in the chat. Hopefully you guys can see it. If you can't, let me know. I can see it on my end.
Could you resend it, please?
You can't see it?
No.
So weird. Why is that? It goes to
Yeah,
everyone.
I can see it, Kristen. I downloaded it to my desktop.
Okay. I'm gonna try to just send it to you, Shirley. Let's see how that goes.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see it either, Kristen.
You
Okay.
don't? So
No.
weird. Why? I wonder why that happens.
Is it because maybe we joined after you sent it?
Oh, maybe. That's a good point. Let me know if you got it, Shirley.
I got it, thank you.
Okay. All right, I'll upload it when we have a couple more people on. Maybe that's what actually, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Hi, Hunter. Hi, Danielle.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Nice to see you on here.
You too.
Thanks. Hi, Johnette.
Hi, Kristen. I don't have my face on yet, so I have to look at least as cute as you. So I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay, so we want to see your face.
No
Hi,
worries.
Vasily.
Hey, Kristen, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome. My daughter My daughter Rachel, do you remember her?
I do. Mhm.
So yesterday she said, oh, we were at Quantum Leap like 4 years ago, Mom. I'm like, oh yeah, somewhere around this
Yeah,
time.
4 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I said, oh, do you remember Vasily and Christian? She's like, yeah. She's like, oh, they both joined Keller Williams. Well, we know about your brother, but whatever.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and she's like, oh yeah, I know. I see their stuff all the time.
Mhm. Yeah. He's
so-
everywhere.
Yeah.
Kristen, I think you're breaking up when you're speaking.
I am.
The voice sounded like it was just breaking up.
Okay, well, if I do it again, just stop me and tell me and I'll unplug my earpiece. I have a roof being put on my house right now, so.
Yeah, it's varying. You're getting quiet and then loud and breaking up. It's varying.
How about this? Is this better?
It's more stable. It's just quieter.
I talk really loud. How about this?
Maybe if I put earphones in on mine, it might amplify it.
Yeah. Is anyone else having a problem hearing me? No one's ever said that to me before. Let me check my connect. I'm down the Cape, but I've had taught classes here before and had to have a problem. Jan. How we doing? Okay? Can you hear me or no?
It sounds the same to me. That it's not as loud as it could be, but I'm gonna try my headphones. Maybe it's just my computer.
Is anyone else having a problem hearing me?
In and out.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing. It's going like in and out and it sounds almost echoey.
Damn it. Let me go to another room. So weird. I'll take you with me.
Ooh, with the headphones, I can really hear you now.
What's that?
With my headphones, I can really hear you now. So
Is
maybe
this
it was-
better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is?
Oh yeah.
I have more furniture. You know what? I have a high ceiling in that room. That's why.
Okay.
Okay. I'll sit on my couch. This is gonna be interesting. Sorry, guys. Usually when I have,
Oh, that's good.
when I teach masterminds, no one said that to me before they've had a problem.
People are intimidated by you.
Yeah, I'm terrible. All right. How about that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
I can. Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, first I'm gonna re-upload the farming packet so you can download it because I think we figured out why some people can see it and some people can't. So we're gonna put it to the test. Usually if it's someone that's come on after I've uploaded it, they can't see it. So I just uploaded it. Let me know if you guys can see it. Okay, perfect. All right, so feel free to interact with me so I'm not just talking to myself. If you're talking, Vasily, I can't hear you.
Click to download, copy.
Okay.
It's not downloading.
All right, well, we're gonna go through it if you have trouble. I mean, you don't have to follow along with it right now, but if you want to, feel free, obviously. Vasily, are you talking to me? I can't hear you if you're talking. Okay, we'll pretend he's not talking to me. I have no idea. Okay. All right, you ready, guys? Okay, you might hear some banging, so I'm sorry. So I'll talk really loud. All right, so who's been to this farming class before besides Barry? Everyone else is new? Oh, this is gonna be exciting. You guys can put your mics on, and talk to me. I wanna hear somebody breathing at least. All right, so farming, who knows what farming is? Now I'll get you to talk to me.
I do.
What's that?
I do. It's when you select a neighborhood that you want to make your own, basically, and you prospect specifically in that area.
Yep. So it's a lead generating technique for real estate agents, right? So it's either a physical area or a group of people.
Yeah.
So it can be a neighborhood, it could be a group of people, like for instance, it could be people that live in condos, renters, maybe a certain nationality if you're bilingual, that type of thing. So either a physical area like a neighborhood, streets, town, or a group of people. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And then you're gonna patiently and consistently, what were the two words I said? Patiently and consistently nurture the relationships. So one day you'll yield the harvest, that's where the whole farm thing comes in, of seller and buyer clients, okay? So this isn't something that you're going to do once and say, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make a ton of money. Okay, you have to be patient and you have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, don't bother doing it. And if you're not patient, don't bother doing it. So after this class, you'll either decide, yes, I want to farm, or no, I don't want to do it. That's terrible. All right, so either way, this is a good class for you because you'll know where you want to be. Okay, awesome. All right, so does it work? Yes. All right, there's some people in our office that have farms. Dakota has one. She does, her condo complex. Okay, Rich Landon has a farm. Randy has a farm. He does condos too. And I have a farm in my neighborhood in Rockland. Okay, so on the farming document that I sent you, there's some stats in there. So my farm area is 209 homes. Okay, it's a subdivision. I'm actually this year going to start breaking up to some of the other developments now. It's just I wanted to start a little smaller at the beginning because it does cost money. Now you can do it on the cheap if you do a lot of the phone calls, door knocking, going out and meeting people kind of thing. You can do it that way too, but it also costs money because you want to be consistent with doing mailings and that kind of thing. Okay, everybody with me?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So the numbers are a little off on here, but I'll just read what's on here. So I started my farm in 2009 when I joined Keller Williams, the middle of 2009 actually, and I don't think I got anything until the following year, but I started doing it after Rich Landon taught this class, and I listened to what he said and I did it, and I ended up getting 2 listings pretty quickly. Okay, are you going to get 2 listings pretty quickly? Maybe not. I think I was just lucky, to be honest. But that really set the stage for me to do it, because what happened was my neighborhood's kind of like in a circle with like offshoot of streets, and people walk, the middle is a mile. So people would walk and see my 2 signs and think that like they saw my signs everywhere, but it was just in the same neighborhood. But to them, they're like, wow, I see you everywhere. And I was fine with that. Okay. And then once I sold the homes and they end up selling for a higher price point than the other homes that were selling in there were, people were going crazy because I did a mailing and they were all talking about it, which was good. And that's kind of how I started. But I did the 8x8, which we're going to go over today. And I'm going to give you exactly what to do and exactly what to say. So it's literally just going to be handed to you. Okay. If you follow it, it will work. If you don't follow it, it's not going to work, just like anything else, right? So you have to be consistent with it, okay? So in there, I sold about 27 homes. A couple of them weren't on the market. We did off-market stuff. With the 5 years when I was the team leader, I referred some of the business to Nicole Condon. So she, I referred it to her. She gave me a referral fee on some of them too, which is great. So I've done a lot of transactions in that neighborhood. So breaking it down for me, just for the years that I've been in the business, like not the 5 years that I wasn't selling, I sold about 3 a year in the neighborhood, which is good. Okay. I just sold one last Friday for $600,000. Now, when I started, the prices were like 380 something. And now I just sold one for 6. I know it's been like how many years, but it is what it is. All right. So it works for me. I live there, so it's great. People know who I am, even if they're not selling their house. They reach out to me asking for referrals for mortgage lenders or landscapers or plumbers or whatever. So it's good because I want them to always be thinking of me. And I've gotten referrals from people in there that I've met now, but I hadn't met originally. They've given me referrals. One gentleman, for instance, gave me a referral for his brother for a multifamily in Quincy. I sold that. They bought something in Florida. I got a referral fee on that. he referred me his other brother who we're going to be buying shortly with him. And I didn't even know the other brother. He just lives in my neighborhood, but he saw me, he saw he knew I lived there, and he just reached out to me once and said, hey, my brother's looking to sell his multifamily. And that was awesome. So that's kind of where you want to be when you do this. So at some point, you don't have to be calling all the time. You could just kind of fiddle in with mailings. Okay. But at the beginning, you do need to make calls. Okay. Yay. Don't be all excited. All right. So you don't have your mics on, so I can't hear y'all go, ugh, you know? Would be fun. All right. Thanks. All right. Awesome. Okay. So what is a good farm? So we're going to talk about how to find the right farm. You can't just go and say, oh, I like this neighborhood, I'm going to farm it. I mean, you can, of course. I don't recommend it, because if it doesn't work out mathematically, then it's really not worth your time. Okay. So you need to have about a 7.5% turnover rate in the past 12 months. Okay. Which, for example, if you have 100 homes in the last 12 months, you should have had about 7 or 8 sales in that neighborhood. Okay. Now, when I first did this, my neighborhood is 209 homes, and I think it was like 8 that sold the year prior. Now, that doesn't follow this, right? Because it's 100 to 8, not 200 to 8. However, I live there, and it was convenient for me, and I was happy with if I got 2 deals a year, or 1, I was happy. So for me, it made sense to me. And I'm glad that I did it, because I mean, I do most of the business in there, or referred it out. You know, you're not going to get them all, just remember that. But I do most of the business in there, which is what you want, right? So you make your judgment. But if you're looking at a neighborhood where nothing sold for, 70 years, you could say, oh, well, that's great, because people are going to eventually now sell, because they're probably all 100 years old. Sure. But again, you're going to be waiting an awful long time. Okay. So even though this takes a bit of time, you don't want to take more time. You want something that's already proven that there's already turnover in that area. I know it kind of doesn't sound like it makes sense. You would think that's where there are people that live in a neighborhood that have been there 30 years or so. It makes more sense for them to start turning over like that. But for some reason, this seems to work. I will tell you, even in my neighborhood, I have sold some of the same houses twice. Like I've been the listing agent, the buyers come and sold it. And then a couple of years later, the buyers called me to resell it. So it's kind of funny how some of the houses just tend to not have people live there that long. I don't know why. I don't know if they're haunted. I have no idea. They're not haunted. Okay. So see, if your mics were on, I could hear you laughing at my jokes, right? I can't hear you laughing. Okay. So anyways, back to what I was saying. You want to really make sure that the numbers make sense. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, you're not going to get 100% of them. So if another agent sells in there, don't get upset. Bill Stone got a listing and he's like, oh, you mad at me? I'm like, no, that's fine. I'd rather you get it than somebody else. Right. So, you're not going to get them. People have relationships. Nicole sells in there because she has some friends that live in there, and she's sold houses in there. They might sell for sale by owner. They may have a relative that's a realtor. You just don't know. So don't get upset if there's another listing in that neighborhood. Okay. Just let that motivate you to try to get it the next time. Okay.
So the higher the turnout rate, the more likely you're gonna see more listings. Is that correct? So if it's
Say that
higher,
again?
if the turnout rate is higher, the turnover rate is higher than 7.5, then presumably it's gonna be even better, correct?
Yeah.
Presumably.
Yep. And then you want to also look at, does it make sense? Is it worth my time? Okay. My effort in that neighborhood? And what is the average sales price? Is it worthwhile to you? Okay. Now, here again, are you going to be looking at, doing it in a mobile home park for $60,000? If they even cost that much anymore, I have no idea. Is that going to be worth it financially for you? If you're going to be doing mailings and that kind of stuff? Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. So take that into consideration. Now, on the flip side, you're probably thinking, well, just go do $1 million neighborhood. because that's good, right? That's a higher price point. Don't I want to be in the higher price point? Yeah, that sounds good, but two things. One, is there a turnover rate there? And two, the people that live there have probably bought and sold a few houses already in their lifetime, and they've probably used the same or the same agent or same company. So to break into that may be a little difficult. I'm not saying don't do it, but again, I haven't seen anybody have a lot of success with that. Maybe it will be you. But again, if the numbers don't make sense for the turnover, then it's not really gonna be the farm area. It's gonna be more of, it's a farm area, you're spending money, but you're only maybe you'll get one listing in there, okay? So keep that in mind. It's very important to make sure the numbers are there. Does everybody know how to find that on MLS? How to tell what the turnover rate is?
That's my next question.
No.
Does anybody know how to do it? Okay, so you're gonna go into MLS. You're gonna go under tools. You're gonna search, do you know how to do labels? Because it's just like doing labels, okay? So you could do there's two ways of doing it. So you can go under tools, go under the, type in the streets that you want in the town, and then it will pull up everything in there. And you can go look under sale date, last sale date. And you can see how many, if there's anything that sold in 2020, 2019, or maybe even 2018. So the last couple of years, okay? You can do it that way. The other way you can do it is go into a search like you would for a buyer, type in all the streets, right? Click sold, put in the date range, the time frame, 2018 and 2020, and then see what sold on those streets in the last couple of years. Make sense? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yep.
How many, so you said, the farm that you have is 209 homes. What is a good size farm? What would be overwhelming?
That's a great question. So it depends who you talk to. So for me, I said, all right, 209 homes is doable for me. You want to look at what's it going to cost you to mail there. So I know that every time I mail there, between my postage, the cards that I buy, it's about $1 a piece. So that's 209 at least dollars, maybe a little more with shipping and stuff for my, my mailings. What's it's going to cost me to mail there. So do I have 200 or so dollars a month to be mailing to that neighborhood? Okay. So it really depends on your budget, really. Now, I've been to events through KW where I've met agents, Andrew Bloom, for instance, I forget what state he works in. His farm area is his whole town. And he does thousands and thousands of mailings a month, way over my budget, okay? So it's really on what's gonna be comfortable for you financially. And then again, you can start adding, okay? So again, I'm gonna start adding a couple neighborhoods now, and it's gonna cost me more money, but whatever, I'm just gonna do it. So I would start smaller. I think at least 100 houses to start minimum, and then go from there. Okay.
So you're projecting the cost for a postcard is gonna cost, you're gonna spend $100 a month for 100 homes, even if it's just a postcard.
Yeah, depending on where you buy them. I mean, you can do them cheaper. Back in the day, I used to print them out myself. So I would do them on Publisher.
Yep.
And I would do the 4 blocks on Publisher, front and back. So it would have the front information about the house or whatever. The back would have all my contact information. I would print them on cardstock in the office. I would cut them. I would stamp them. I would put the labels on it. And I did it. It was 8 cents for 4 on one side. And then I did black and white on the other side, which was 3 cents. So they were really cheap. But you know what? It was more labor for me, maybe more labor intensive, but it was cheaper. And for me at the time, I was too cheap to spend the money. So I just did it myself. Okay. Then I said, well, why am I spending 8 cents on the front for 4 when it's like, cause it's color, why don't I just buy yellow cardstock and then do black and white on each side? And it's only 6 cents for both sides. So I did that for a long time too. So, cause I felt like I'm going to get the listing, whether it's color or black and white. So that's what I did to save money. So there's different ways to cut corners, for your budget at the beginning. And then, you can evolve from there. Now, although the last 2 mailings, this last one I ordered cards, the one before that I did myself. So, again, now I'm like, forget it. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to just order them and they'll look nicer anyways. Okay. All right. So how do you start your farm? What do you need to do? All right. So you need to look at, what your goals are. Okay. So what are your goals? How many houses do you want to sell in the neighborhood? What would make sense for you? Because honestly, if you sell 1 house in there in a year, you're going to make money anyways. Let's say it's $10,000. You're not going to spend $10,000 on mailings for the year. So already you're ahead. Okay. But that's certainly not the goal, just to sell 1 house, right? What's your budget? Figure it out some way, even overinflate it, of what it's going to take for you to do your mailings every month. Okay. Decide that now, because if you don't see what it's going to cost you every month and every year, then as the months go by, you're going to start falling off and not doing it. Okay. You want to look at the size of the farm. You want to look at the location of the farm. Okay. The location is a big deal, in my opinion, because again, if you're going to be doing a lot of business there, you want to know about the area a lot, and you're going to be going there a lot. So like for me, my neighborhood, sometimes I could just walk down the street and put my sign up. I don't have to drive a half an hour back and forth. And if I need to check in on the house for something, or, if I have to drop off flyers or whatever it is, I'm very close. So it's convenient for me. And it makes you a better agent because you can give them better service. The house that I just sold on Friday, the night before they did the walkthrough, and they call me and they're like, the windows in the addition don't open and the furnace is leaking. I'm like, great. And I was at a wake. But I went over there at 8 o'clock at night with my husband. We opened all the windows, they were fine. And it was just a pipe, runoff pipe that was leaking. And, I called my client and he was thrilled because they had already moved out. And he's like, wow, you're really earning your money, huh? And it was like, good, at least he sees that I'm doing stuff, and he's already told me that they're going to write a review and they're going to call 3 of the neighbors right away that they know that are going to be selling.
Oh, nice.
And they've already referred me to people before anyways. So, it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to service them better. Okay. You want to, maybe know some people that are in there. So Mets and haven't Mets. Okay. Obviously I don't know everybody that lives in my neighborhood, but I know a lot of them now. But you want to have at least some people that so that's why the neighborhood makes sense, right? You want to look at the average sales price, like I said, the turnover rate, what the market conditions are. We know that they always change, obviously, but there could be certain market conditions in certain areas that may not change. So you want to take that into consideration. Competition. So if you go online and you find out that Jane Smith is doing a ton of business there in that neighborhood, you may not want to try to break into that neighborhood. You know why? Because Jane Smith's been there a long time, and it's probably unlikely that you're going to be able to now go in and snatch up all the listings. Now, could you? Sure, you could do better marketing, but it may be a little harder. It's like kind of like more like just going to be like more stress and more work on you, because you're going to have to now try to convince everyone, like, not that person, now me. Okay. If it's somebody like at Keller Williams, our culture is not to go in and start, getting in on someone else's farm. That's just not our culture. So I don't recommend doing that. So don't be coming to Millbrook, and don't go to Dakota's territory and blah, 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 because it's just, again, you can, I'm not telling you you can't, but it's not in culture, and you're probably going to have a harder time trying to break through. So why bother? There's plenty of houses out there. Okay. All right. And are you a fit for the farm? Okay. Does it make sense for you to be in that farm area? For instance, if I saw Agata speaks Polish, I think. So if I went to a neighborhood that they had a lot of Polish speaking people, I don't know how to speak Polish. So for me to go and try to like market to these people and, you know, try to get their business, it's not going to do either one of us any good because I can't communicate with them. Make sense? So that wouldn't be a good fit for me. Or any other farm that speaks other than English, not good for me because I can't speak anything else. So that wouldn't be a good fit. Okay. So, you know, if you're, like if you do a lot of rentals, let's say, and you're really good with like how rentals, landlords, kind of that thing kind of works, you know, that may be a good group of people for you to market to because you know how that all works and you can talk to them about, hey, well, this is what you're renting and this is what it would cost if you bought something. And, you know, you could be in that groove there, especially if you're putting a lot of those people into rentals. You've now grown, you know, your database that way. You know, if that's something that you're into, that may be a good fit for you. Not for me, but maybe for you. Okay. Does that make sense? Those good examples?
Yeah.
Okay.
definitely.
So make sure it fits your farm area. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. I know some of the stuff that I gave is repetitive. I have a different class that I teach with this too. All right. So what is the farm going to do for you? So it's going to build trust with people and recognition. That's if you are trustworthy and professional. It can also backfire on you too. Okay. But being out there, showing that you are the expert in that area is just going to build your reputation up in that area. People know who to go to, who to ask questions to, etc. Okay. You want to market your listings aggressively. So when you have listings in that area, you want to always be sending out a just listed, a just sold card. Okay. Don't just put the house on the market and forget about the farm. You really got to focus on that farm. Now, do I send my farm, hey, Kristen just sold a house in Quincy? No, because none of them care. And I'm not spending the money. I just want them to care about what happened in that neighborhood, or maybe in a different farm in the same town that maybe will affect their price point. Like for instance, that house I just sold on Friday sold for $600,000. I am sending that to my other 2 farm areas that I'm going to build that are comparable to my neighborhood, to show them that I just sold that house for $600,000. And that's how I'm going to start with that farm now. Okay. But you have to be aggressive with that. Concentrate on your open houses, like have really good open houses, market them well, be professional, maybe do extra things. You know, again, you're going to evolve as you do this. You may, especially at the beginning, like I used to do cookies. So I would make my husband bake cookies and then we would put them in individual bags and we would make labels and we would say freshly baked from our house, home. I hope you enjoy this home, whatever. I forget what exactly what it said, but something like that. And we would do that for all the open houses and, you know, the neighbors would come and nobody wants the cookies. And then, you know, after the open house, I'd go outside and be like, hey, whoever was outside, here's the cookies, you know. I don't do that anymore. Whatever. I mean, you know, I don't bring food anymore at all because listen, first of all, I don't want them to eat food in the house walking around. So that's why I always bagged it up, but nobody eats it. Of all these years since I've been in real estate since 07, I'm like begging people, take some candy, have a water bottle. Sometimes they'll take the water. That's probably as much as I can sell when I'm there. But again, do what works for you, but you'll evolve and you'll be like, forget, I'm not doing that anymore. But I'm going to be professional. I'm going to have my pens. I'm going to have my candle lit. I'm going to have the, you know, I'm going to have information about, you know, lending options. I'm going to have my property book at the house. I'm going to have, you know, professional sign, whatever, you know, and just make sure it's consistent. Okay. With your open houses, put a lot of signs out, open house signs. Okay. Kind of do it up a level more. I mean, really, you should be all doing them the same anyways, but if you really want to focus on the farm, put it a notch up. Okay. You could do, these are just ideas, you know, you could do seminars or classes for people in that area. You can join local organizations. You can be part of like the town board or maybe a committee member in the neighborhood. I'm not doing it, I refuse. But you could do that if you wanted to do it. I mean, it would probably be very smart for me to do it, but I know too much about, because I know other people that have done it and I'm not going there. But that's something that you might want to do. You know, get to know the people, You could be part of something in the town too. I used to be, when my kids were in soccer, I used to, every season, so twice a year, I would buy all the shirts, shorts and socks for the kid, for the, the under, the micros, the kids. And they would have, they used to say Weichert on the back, Jan, and they were yellow shirts. And then I went to KW, I changed them to the red shirt. So I was the red team, and it said Keller Williams on the back. So you could do other things like that, or be part of the town, the community in some way. Okay? So far, so good?
Mhm.
All right. So you also want to create a calendar. So if any of you have taken bold, who's taken bold? All right. So remember the growth calendar?
Ugh.
Ugh, yes. All right. So what I did is I just took that, I made my own, and I just deleted everything in the middle inside of it. And then what I did is I would write in what I'm going to do for every month for the farm. Now you can do it for your business in general and add the farm in there, or you can do it separately for the farm. So I have two, one for my regular business and one for the farm. So for instance, in January, it will say, mail out the market update from the previous year. So in January, I have the end of December, depending on when the last closing is. Like if there's something that's not going to close until the end of the year, I wait till January. So sometimes they don't go out till the beginning of February. So it just depends on what's hasn't closed yet for the year. But I will write up what the sales date was, what the address of the property, beds, baths, square footage, acreage, what it sold for. And I'll put that together on a card. I have them made, and then I mail those out. So everybody knows, like, this is what happened. Market update for 2020. These are all the houses that sold and what the sales price was.
For the
Okay.
whole, just in your farming neighborhood.
Just in my neighborhood. Yep.
Nice.
So it'd be 8, 10 houses that sell. I think probably no more than 12. Now, whether I sold it or not, doesn't matter. Anything that sold, whether I sold it or not, I'm just giving them a market update. I'm not saying I sold it. I want to put on, these are the ones I sold, see the price, but I don't do that. All right, so I do that. And then February, I may do, a mailing, maybe something for, winter or something or whatever. So whatever you want to do. July, I do flags. So in June, I'll say buy the flags and prep them. And then July, before July 4th, I hire either my kids or my nieces to go out and put flags in the neighborhood. So everybody gets a flag. Okay. I send out Christmas cards. You could do pumpkins. I mean, there's 100 things you can do. Where's Bob Gill? Bob Gill, I don't know if he does this for his farm, but he bought Frisbees. We talked about that at Bold, and he bought Frisbees, and I want to do that this year. When we were at Bold, I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I never actually ordered them, but that's on my list for this year. And I'm going to have the kids just throw the Frisbees on the front lawn, like in, I don't know, March or April or something like that. So again, if you don't have the money to spend, like to buy flags and do that stuff, that's fine. I didn't do that when I started this. Okay. I'm just evolving into doing that stuff now. Okay.
Well, it's almost the same things you send to your regular database on a regular, like pens or calendars, isn't it? You could just do it personally. You could actually, if it's a small enough farm, you could just walk around and just put it on their doorknobs and maybe even meet somebody. Hey, how you doing? Or whatever, right?
Yep, absolutely. And door knocking works really well too. I've never done it. I won't do it, but I recommend doing it because it's good to get face to face and to do that. It's just not who I am. It's just not what I do. So I don't do it. So don't do things if you're like, figure out different ways to do it that you're actually going to do, not uncomfortable things. Because if on here was like, oh, I got to go door knock, I'm never doing it, right? So why put it on there and stress myself out? Okay, so do what's comfortable for you. Yeah, calendar magnets, again, I don't do them. I don't know why, I'm just not into it. But if you guys do that, that's a good thing to, send to your farm area, the calendars. That's a great idea. Like the sports ones, when they ever start to play again, that would be great.
I'm sorry. When you do things like the flags, so you're trying to do something every month, obviously, and it's not just a mailing. But when you do things like the flags, like, do you get permission to put them on people's lawn? No. And you've never had a problem or anything?
So the first year we started doing it, or the second year, I can't remember. Whichever year it was, I was a team leader at the time. So Nicole and I were doing it together. So we co-marketed it because I couldn't sell. So because everybody knew me, it was like, I was like the face of the neighborhood and I was like the back end, she was the front end. So what we did was we do little postcards with both of our, faces and names on it. It says like, wishing you and your family happy 4th of July, whatever. And we attach them to the flags and we put them in. So that one year that her and I did it together, we each got called and emailed from somebody that said, I never gave you permission to put a flag in my front yard. Now the holes, like literally, I mean, it's like this big, okay? So, and we were in a class at the time, like in Boston. So like, no problem. So we emailed them back and I'm like, we're sorry. I'm happy to just let me know what your address is, because we didn't know who it was. And I looked on public record and that person's name didn't own a house there. So I don't know who it was. Still don't know. I said, that's fine. I'm happy to come by and take and pick it up. Like, I'll take it back. They never responded. So who cares? I mean,
Okay.
I'm not destroying anything. Like, don't let that hold you up. I will tell you, every time that I've done it, like we have a Facebook page for our neighborhood. People are like, my nieces got tipped this year. Like, oh, someone's gonna pay for the flags and gave my nieces a tip, like $10. I'm like, I paid for the flags, but okay. People were like, thank you so much. I mean, I was showing them what to do and people coming outside like, oh my God, it looks so good. They were posting on Facebook. They were taking pictures of their dogs sitting next to the flag. I mean, people love it. They love it and they look forward to it. But again, you got to be consistent, because when I stop doing it, they're going to be like, why didn't she do it? Right? You gotta be consistent. But it does look nice when you're driving down the neighborhood and like this flag just lined up on the street all the way around. They cost about $1 something a piece, depending. It cost me more money this year because they were hard to get because of COVID. And they weren't even as nice as the ones I got. These were like plastic ones. I was so mad. But I didn't want to not do it. So I did it with cheaper flags that cost more money. But they didn't care. I noticed it and I was mad, but they were happy. So that's all that matters. Okay. All right. So getting back to the calendar. So put down what you want to do. Now, within that, I always do, if I have a just sold, I always send a just sold. I mean, if I get a listing, I'd always send a just listed. And if I have a sold, I send a just sold, even if it's in July. Doesn't matter. Now, sometimes in the past, if I've had like 2 houses come out at the same time or 3 sell in the same month, I add them all to the same card because I'm cheap. I'm not going to send 3 out for 3 different houses. I'm going to say, these all just sold. One time I did a 5 house card. It was like these 3 sold and these 2 are, on the market. So again, be wise with your money. Okay. All right. Okay, and then keep track of your expenses, wicked important, okay? On this page here too, see, there's a call to action post, like a little card. Now I copied that from something somewhere, I don't know, some farming thing that I did. It's too wordy. No one's I haven't even read all this because it's just too much. So I'm just showing you, like, find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for and then do something else catchy and then that's it. Don't write all this stuff. It's just too much. I bet none of you are going to read it anyways, because it's too overwhelming. So it's just there to show you, like, do a card, have a catchy phrase, and then, do something with that. Okay. Because you can do something with, curb appeal stuff. The food, that's like 80s, 90s, when everyone sent to you, like, here, this is how you do a roasted chicken or something, like thing. I mean, there's so many other things that you can, other valuable things that you can send to them. Oh, think about it this way. If I got this in the mail, do I want it? Like, if someone's sending me a card for a restaurant, now I'm in real estate. I'm not a baker. I'm not a chef. Am I going to send out like, hey, this is how you make a rhubarb pie? Plus, I don't even like that. Why would I send that out? Who wants that? Right? So make it something that is giving value to those people. If they're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, lasagna, they're not gonna really remember you, but if you're giving them tips on something like to winterize their house, like to keep it, I don't know, energy cost things or curb appeal stuff, or maybe you're, one year I worked with the owner of Domino's. He's a friend of mine in town, and we did like present this card and get $5 off a pizza, you know what I mean? And like sent that out. So like think of different things that people might want from you. Okay, because again, you're spending money on it. So make it worth it. Okay. All right. If you want to door knock, anybody want to door knock? Anyone? No?
Okay.
Well, if you do, and you're just being shy, you can do this on the bottom, this little exercise, and it will just give you an idea of like how many homes and how many minutes you're gonna have to take every week to do your door knocking. I'll tell you, Bill Stone does door knocking, and every time he's done it, even in the pouring rain or the snow, he's always gotten a listing. Why he doesn't do it every day, I don't know. Now I'm calling him out on the Zoom, but whatever. I've said it 100 times. But he's really good at door knocking. It's his thing, you know? So if it's your thing, do it. If it's not your thing, don't do it. All right. Now, do you want to know how to do the 8x8?
Sure.
Yes. All right. All right. So I have a sample 8x8 that I uploaded for you. Okay. Now, and Jan, this is funny because Kyle used to do this, and this is where I got this from, like the thought process on this. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. So 8x8. What is an 8x8? Let's start there. Somebody.
You're touching them 8 times.
How
Right.
often?
Once a week.
Once a week for 8 weeks. Yes. So you're touching them one time for 8 weeks, 8x8. Now they did a study, and I don't remember the guy's name, so I'm going to make it up, but they did a study once where they sent out in a farm area a picture of this realtor. We'll call him John Brown. Okay. And they put it on, they just kept doing mailings with this guy, John Brown, realtor, blah, 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 over and over again to this farm area. Then they had somebody calling the farm area, and they said, hey, we're doing a survey. We're just calling to see if you were in need for a real estate agent, who would that be? And they all said John Brown. He wasn't a realtor or a real person.
Mm. Good.
Okay. So what does that tell you?
Works.
Marketing, consistency. Okay. Just over and over again. They all said his name. Fantastic. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. The other thing is, and I caution you because I know what's going to happen unless you're like the 1% amazing, like person that like would do it no matter what. And that's great. But most of us agents aren't like that. So as you do the once a week for 8 weeks, you're going to be all jazzed up to do week 1. And then you're going to think about being all jazzed up for week 2. And if you even get out week 2, you're ahead of most people. By week 3, you're going to be like, oh, I got to do that. And then now it's week 4. You're like, oh, I didn't do week 3 yet. And then you're like, oh, I'll do it next week. And then, oh, now it's like week 9 and you haven't even done week 3 yet. Okay. Because we get busy. We think, what are we going to do? I don't know. Let me think about it. Now a week's gone. So this is my recommendation. If you're not going to do it this way, I honestly suggest not doing it at all, because it's going to cost you money that's you're going to have no return on the investment. So you're just going to be blowing a couple $100. Okay. And nobody wants to do that. So what I recommend is set up some buckets. Okay. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buckets. Okay. Tupperware, containers. Okay. And do all of your mailings or whatever you're going to mail out or drop off. Okay. Get them already ready. Figure out what it is, stamp them, put the address on it, buy it, whatever it is, and put it in the bins all 5 weeks before you even start this. Okay.
Nice.
Because that way you can say, okay, every Friday, I'm going to mail this out, or even Saturday. I probably recommend maybe Saturday, but Friday or Saturday, depending on how quick the mail is. That's the only crazy thing nowadays. They don't come as quick as you think. But every Friday, week one, you're gonna be like, oh, it's Friday. I'm gonna put my mailing in. So they're gonna get it by Monday or Tuesday. Okay. And then next week, if you call the third week, you'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna take this bucket and that's Friday. I'm putting it in the mailbox. Okay. So I'll be ready for you. All you need to do is literally take it out of there and put it in the mailbox. Make sense? Okay. I promise you, if any of you don't do this and you get through all 8 weeks, call me, because kudos to you. I will bow down to you. Okay. Because I'm telling you, 8 weeks doesn't seem like a long time, but it is. And again, we get distracted. So just do everything up front. The other thing too is you've already spent the time and the money on it. So you're going to have to put it in the mailbox, or you just wasted all that money. Okay. All right.
Did you do a mailer all 8 weeks, or did you actually like call people and?
Oh no, we're
But
gonna.
you don't door knock, so.
We're calling. You can. All right, so let's go through that. So week one is going to be a mailer of some sort. Now, it can be a letter of introduction or a postcard. So you can do a letter that says, you know, hello, my name is Kristen Bucher. I'm actually one of your neighbors. I lived at 2 Deacon Reed Lane, blah, 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 whatever. I've lived here for this many years. I'm a realtor. I work with Keller Williams Realty. I want to be a realtor of whatever you want to say. Okay. Do up a little thing, not too long, 1 page. Okay. Because nobody wants to read anymore. Do something quick, easy, and just, you know, let them know who you are and that you're a realtor. And if they need your services, you're available. Okay. Mail that out. I think that's better than doing just like a random postcard, in my opinion, because you want to introduce yourself to people, because you may know some people, but you won't know them all. Okay. So number one, mailer. Okay, great. So after that mailer goes out, so let's say you put it out Friday, they get it, let's say Monday, hopefully, you're going to start making your calls week 2. Okay. And this is the phone script. So it's very simple now. So you're going to call. Now let's back up here for a second, because I forgot, I left one thing out. How are you going to get all their phone numbers? You got to get all that stuff before you start this too. All the mailings, but you got to get everybody's addresses and phone numbers. Now the addresses are easy because they're in MLS. So you'll know, okay, so, you know, Cindy lives at this address and Sue lives at this address. So that's great. Now, so you have their names, their addresses. Now you need their phone number and hopefully an email. So if you know these people, put their phone numbers and emails automatically. If you don't, now we have to hunt for them. So either get cold directory. It's super cheap through our office. Okay. Now, are you going to get out of 209 homes? Do you think I have everybody's phone number? No. Do I care?
No.
No, I don't. I could care less. Okay. If I can't find your number, I'm not calling you. Okay. Whatever. Okay. So don't let that hold you up. Okay. Maybe you do Red X is one. There's a whole bunch like Vulcan 7, all this stuff. You can do the whitepages.com. And there's another one too. I can't remember the name of it. It's kind of like White Pages. Anybody know what it is?
PassPeopleSearch.com.
What is it?
PassPeopleSearch.com.
There you go. Perfect. Okay. So find as many numbers as you can. Okay. Like really try. Okay. Because you got to call these people. Now, again, whoever you have numbers for, fine. Just leave it blank. Maybe someday you'll get their number, because maybe you'll call someone and they'll be, you say, oh, you know, do you happen to have Sue's number? Oh yeah. Then you put it in. Okay. All right. Awesome. So back to this. So now week 2, we're going to make the phone call. So now we have Monday through Friday, or even till Saturday, that we can make all of our phone calls for our farm. And this is the script. Now, remember, it's all about timing. You've got to do 1 week mailing, right? I'm sorry. So week 1, you put out on Friday. That first week is the mailing. Second week is your phone calls, right? Then you put your next mailing on Friday. Then third week, which is kind of really the 4th, is your second mail, the second step or third step, right? Makes sense? Okay. So now you're gonna call. Anybody want to read it, or do you want to listen to me?
We like
Does
this.
anybody have? You want to listen to me? Great. Okay. All right. So, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This is Kristen from Keller Williams Realty. Do you have a minute? Somebody role play with me. Jan.
I'll do, oh, okay.
Okay, who? Danielle, good, go.
I'll do it with you. Great.
No, do you have a minute?
Yeah,
Great. I was just calling to ask you if you received my letter of introduction in the mail.
I did. I think you sent a letter this week.
Yes, I did. Good. I'm glad you got it. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, do you live in the neighborhood?
I do. Yeah, I live on Deacon Reed.
Okay,
The green house.
I sort of grazed over it very quickly.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I just wanted you to know that I plan on being the realtor of choice for our neighborhood, or your neighborhood if you don't live there. And you will be getting valuable information and items from me going forward. Will that be okay with you?
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate it.
Great, thanks. Please keep me in mind if you know of anyone who's planning on buying or selling real estate. Would you do that for me?
Of course.
Awesome. Danielle, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And again, if you need anything at all, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. You know, whatever. Okay. Whatever your anything is. Okay. Simple, right? Read it twice and you'll get it. You can just use the cheat sheet. Okay. Simple enough, right?
Yep.
She didn't yell at me. And don't tell me they're going to yell at you because they're not. Okay. They're nice. They're your farm area. All right. So we made all of our calls. Phew, glad that's over with. All right. Yay, week 3. So now we're either going to do a mailing, we're going to door knock, or we're going to drop off an item of value. So this is all going to be on timing based on when you do it, because let's say you did it in July and I wanted one of the weeks to be my flags, then I can do my drop off of my flags that week, right? So you're going to have to really time this out on when you want to start it. Make sense? Okay. So either way, now when I first did it, as we all know, I'm not door knocking and I was too cheap to buy anything. So I did a mailing. So every time there was like a mailing, door knock, whatever, I just did the mailing. Okay. So you just have to think of something to do. So it could be a seasonal card. It could be, you know, again, all the things I talked about before, anything that's going to give them value, some type of mailer. Okay. That would be week 3. Okay, great. Mail those out. Now week 4, yay, another mailing. I don't have to make any calls. So now you're going to do another mailing, whatever it is. That's why you got to take time ahead of time to think about what you want to send out. Because think about this. If we're in week 3 and we're like, oh, what are we going to send out? How long do you think it's going to take you to think of something to do and actually implement it? You're going to be at week 5, right? Okay. So again, do whatever that is that you want to do. Maybe you want to door knock this time. Maybe you want to drop something off. Maybe you want to do a mailer. Okay. Whatever you want to do. Okay. And again, I keep, blaring door knocking, but it's the cheapest. It doesn't cost you anything but time. So financially, if you're looking at this and saying, this is a lot of money, but I really want to do this, then door knock and just bring a friend. I don't know, walk your dog, bring your dog, do something, just get it out of your head and just say, I'm just doing it. Even though I'm not going to like it, I'm still doing it. Okay. Because you don't have to do it at the beginning. Then you don't have to do it again. Okay. All right. Week 5, but now we're going to make another phone call. Yay. Okay. Who wants to role play with me? Okay, Jan, thanks for offering.
All right.
It's like, why am I here? Hey, at least I'm being the agent. You just have to be the seller.
Good
Or
point.
the neighbor. Okay. Hi, Jan. This is Kristen from Keller Williams Realty.
Hi,
Are you in
Kristen.
the middle of something?
No, I'm not.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I was just calling today to see if you received the mailing that the postcard that I just sent out about, I don't know, the holidays, whatever it was, whatever I sent out.
Yes, I did get it. Thank you for sending that.
Wonderful. Just curious, do you know who is thinking of buying or selling real estate?
I don't at the moment.
No one? That's fine. I do appreciate you trying to think of somebody. Then smile so they can hear the smile. Okay. Please call or email me if you know of anyone that I can help out.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks so much. Something like that. Okay. Simple. We don't take much of their time. We just want them to know, like, hey, I'm going to be calling you. Okay. Now, most of the time, well, probably most of the time, they're going to be like, oh, how's the market? Yeah, and they're just gonna be asking you questions and talking to you, and then the script's gonna go out the window. That's fine. Don't be like, if she's like, oh, all right, tell me you do have somebody. Let's do that. Hey, I just want wonderful, just curious if you know anybody that's thinking about buying or selling.
Actually, the other day I was talking to one of my neighbors and yeah, she's thinking about it, but she's not sure what the markets is right now. She hears a lot about people bidding way over asking and is hoping to get a ton of money for her house. Is that true?
Yeah, that's fine. So I do appreciate you trying to think of somebody. Like, don't just start reading this. Like, you got to listen to what they're saying and then like go, oh, a lead? Woo, I don't care about this anymore. Oh, great. What's your neighbor's name? Blah, blah, blah. You know, and then just go into that and like, just talk to them. Don't worry about what the script says now. It doesn't matter. Okay. Because I think a lot of people get hung up on that. They feel like they get so tuned into following the script that the client, the homeowner will say something and you kind of like go, oh, okay, great. Yeah. And then just like forget about it. And they're trying to give you business and you're like, well, I got to follow my script. Okay. So don't get caught off guard. All right. Awesome. Now week 6, again, we're going to do a mailer, door knocking, drop off an item of value. You could do, again, all on timing, a coat drive or can drive if you want to do that kind of stuff, or drop off pumpkins or wreaths or whatever. Okay. Week 7, same thing. And then week 8, phone call. So it's only 3 phone calls. Not bad, right? Out of 8. It's a good number. All right. All right. Who wants to role play with me on this? Don't be shy.
Sure, I'll do it.
Thank you. Hi, Johnette. This is Kristen from Keller Williams Realty. Have I caught you at a bad time?
Oh, I got a few minutes. What's going on, girl?
Great. I was calling to see if you received my mailing the other day or last week.
Oh, yeah, I did. That was really cute.
Wonderful. Do you have any questions about that?
No, not really.
All right, great. Well, as you can tell, I'm going to be active in our neighborhood as the realtor of choice for Millbrook. Do you know of anyone who's planning on buying or selling real estate in the next 90 days by chance?
Potentially, yeah. I do have, she just mentioned it, but to me the other day, but she's not sure yet.
Great. Would you mind sharing her name and number with me? And I can give her a call and let her know that I spoke with you.
I'd rather call her if that's okay.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Well, let me give you my cell phone number.
Oh, okay.
And then when would be a good time for me to follow up with you to just check to see if you'd had time to give her a call?
You know, I see her at my congregation meeting every week on Zoom. So I'll see her on Sunday, maybe a couple of days after that, or Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, early next week is fine.
All right. So can I call you Tuesday afternoon? Would that work for you?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Awesome. Great. And then give her your number and blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much, Shawnette. I really appreciate you thinking of me and giving me the opportunity to help your friend.
Well, you're a good guy. We know you. You're a good girl.
Awesome. Thanks.
We love you.
Is there anything I can do for you and your family?
For me?
Yeah.
No, I just got to go back and cook now. So.
All right. Well, take care and I'll be in touch soon. Thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay. Now, here comes Bill. All right. So see that? See, I should probably change this, but is there anything I can do for you and your family? That line, who wants to say that? Yeah. So I would probably suggest, like, do you have any real estate related needs, or is there anything that I can help you with, like in regards to real estate? This is why. Steve Zabowski last winter, Jan, do you remember? He said to us, an older woman, like, oh, do you need any, can I help you with anything? Do you need anything? She's like, oh yeah, I need you to shovel my driveway. And then another time she had him going to the grocery store for her. And so, yeah, some people might take it to like, yeah, sure, come babysit my dogs. I don't know, whatever. Like, you probably don't want to get into that. So I would rephrase that a little bit. Okay. Awesome. How was that? Good. Good?
Good, I have another question.
Yes, good.
On week 6, it says, can bottle drive or coat drive. Does that mean that you would run something like that and see if you can get people to help you out with that? Is
Yeah.
that, okay.
Exactly. So you could do like a mailing saying, hey, I'm gonna have a coat drive, whatever the date is. Maybe it's the following week. Well, I'd probably give them, maybe I would do it like step 2 and then maybe, or let's see. Because you want to kind of get them to know you a little bit first. So let's say you did it maybe week 4, send it out, and then maybe picked it up week 7 or maybe even week 9. You know what I mean? Like try to give them a little bit of time. I mean, you could do it back to back. It's totally up to you, but I guess how organized and stuff that you are.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Yes. Anyone? No? Okay. All right. So now you want to stay in touch with these people. Justin, do you have a question?
Yeah. It's kind of like general and what about the do not call list?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
What about the do not call list?
Oh, I love that question. Thanks for asking. Okay. Now, this is, watch what I say here. Don't worry about the do not call list. I know some people tell you and they freak you out about it. This is the thing with it. When you're calling people, did you notice I didn't ask any of them if they're going to sell their house? I asked them if they knew somebody. Okay, that's different than asking. You're not soliciting them, you're asking them for a favor. Okay, that's the thing. So when people are like, oh, don't call the do not call list, whatever. Again, whatever, you can blame me. But when you're calling, if someone says, oh, well, I'm on the do not call list, say, oh, I'm sorry, Jan, I didn't want you to think that I was calling you because of that. Wait a minute, hold on, what's the script? Hold on, let me think of it for a second. I'm not, I'm sorry that you, wait a minute. Oh, God. Ooh, I love this question. Now my brain just like shut off. Something like, oh, Jan, I'm not calling to ask you if you're selling your house. I'm calling to ask you if you know somebody. Okay.
Difference.
Yeah, exactly. And now I can't even think of like what it actually is.
And aren't you able to say something like, I'm calling to follow up about the material that I had sent to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they give you a hard time.
Around.
Yeah, absolutely. Just say, I'm not here. Oh, I know what it is. I'm not here to solicit your business, your business. I'm just calling to see if you happen to know of anybody. And if they start yelling at you, then just say, I'm sorry. I'll take you off my list. I won't call you again. My name is Johnette, so call my broker. You can do that. Okay, whatever. Blame somebody else in the office. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Okay. So yeah, just say this isn't a call to solicit your business. I'm just calling to see if you happen to know of anybody that's thinking of buying or selling. And then they're like, oh, okay. All right. Most of the time, like, again, unless they know you or whatever, it's just like we do. We answer the phone and we're like, hello, who is this? I don't know that number. What do you want from me? Right. And then they start talking like, yeah, it's me. And then they start talking like, okay. And then they get to warm up to you. We do it the same. Do we not?
Definitely.
So just think of that. They're doing what we do. When you get a call from, another company or somebody that's trying to sell you something, you're always like, what do you want? How much is it going to cost? And you're always on guard and not really friendly at the beginning. And then when they start talking, you're like, oh, okay, this person's not bad. Okay, let's be nice. Don't be mean. I lead generate too. I should be nice, and now you're, having that conversation. So just keep in mind, they're going to do the same thing. So don't take it personally. And the other thing too is if they're freaking out or they're screaming at you or they're upset, it's not you. They didn't know you were going to call. They're like, oh, wow, I think Kristen's going to call me at 2 o'clock and I'm going to freak out on her. Okay. You don't know what's going on in their life. Okay. Their kid could have just gone in an accident, could have got, put in jail. They could be getting divorced. They could be like sick. They could have just fallen down the stairs. They could be like, have creditors calling them every day. You just don't know what's going on. So it's not you. So don't say, oh, well, they yelled at me, so now I'm not doing this anymore. Okay. Don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with you. Okay. It's all on them. And if you're not comfortable with calling them in the future, then don't cross them off the list. But you will find that there are people that are gonna be like the nosy neighbor, and they're gonna give you all the dirt. Oh, so-and-so's getting divorced, blah, blah, blah. Don't tell them I told you that though, you know? And those are the people you want. I had one of those in my neighborhood when I first started calling. Years later, like 5-something years later, I ended up selling this house and he relocated,
That's funny.
you know? So you never know. All right. So now you want to stay in touch with these people. We don't want to just go 8 by 8 and then go, all right, I'm done. Okay. You want to put them on like a 33 touch in your database, or a smart plan is what we call it now. Okay. To touch them. Okay.
Right. And then smart.
And then you want, so those are people like that, you know, like you've talked to, maybe they like had a good conversation with you. And then everybody else, you want to put them on a 12 direct. Okay. So some of my people are on both. They're on a 33 because they're neighbors. I know them. And then they're also on the 12 direct. So I'm not going to pull them out of my mailings. So what's a 12 direct?
Once a month.
Once a month for 12 months. Okay. So you're going to do mailing postcard once a month for 12 months. And then you're going to call them 2 to 3 times per year. Okay. You may want to set annual traditions, you know, like I said before, flags, drop off sugar pumpkins, you know, the seed packets, bottle drives, food drives. You could sponsor events. You could do donations to charity, whatever. So if you want to do some tradition, you don't have to do it right away, but it's something that you might want to, you know, implement at some point. Okay. All right. When you get a listing in the farm, okay, you're going to mail right away. Now, it's a little difficult now because like by the time you get the mailing and mail it out, like the house might already be off the market. So you really got to plan this better. Like, so when you're talking to your client, go, okay, what's the price, whatever. And then that night, like, and you say, okay, we're going to get the photos on Wednesday. We're going to list it on Friday, whatever it is. On that Monday, when you meet with them, go home and do that mailing so that you can get it out the next, even like right before it lists, like the day before, just so the neighbors are going to get it right away. Okay. So you're going to have to do things a lot quicker now than you had to before. Okay. And then you want to call the farm. Okay. Again, just the people that you have their numbers for. Okay. Hi, Mrs. Jones. This is Christopher from Keller Williams Realty. Do you have a minute? Great. My call today to see if you got the postcard about 2 Birch Bottom Circle that I'm selling. Great. Just curious. You happen to know anyone who'd be looking to move into our neighborhood? Well, your neighborhood. Not a problem. No, not a problem at all. Anyone else you know who's looking to move out of the area? No. Well, thank you for your time, and please keep me in mind if you do hear of anyone. Have a great day. Okay. You can also invite them to the open house. So again, it's all about timing. You can say, do you know of anybody? No, great. Well, I just want to invite you that just want to let you know that I'm having an open house on Sunday from 11 to 2, and I'd love for you to come if you can come take a look at the property. Or you can say, I'm having an open house from 12 to 2 on Sunday, but I'm going to actually have it open from 11 to 12 for neighbors. So if you want to come anywhere between 11 or 12, just open house with neighbors, feel free to stop by. And if you have anybody that you know that you think would like to live in this neighborhood, feel free to bring them too. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to do like some, prizes or something. You could do that. We'll talk about that in a minute too. Okay. And then you can let them know then. Okay.
Yeah.
What are
Hey,
bird
Kristen?
dogs? What's that?
Kristen, it's Kathy.
Hi.
Yeah, do you leave voicemail messages
Yes.
if you don't reach people?
Yes. Now we don't have to call them again. Okay.
Okay,
But they heard my voice. Now, some people say don't know. They say, oh no, I'm going to call until I talk to them. Fine. If you want to do that, do it. For me, I don't care if they come out at 5 o'clock, as long as they hear my voice and they know I'm a realtor and that I sell real estate and I called them, that's all I care. Okay. Because most of the
Okay.
times I'd be like, yes, no, okay, yep, bye. Okay. So maybe I'll catch them next time. Sometimes you'll never get them on the phone. I don't care.
right,
As long as I'm doing the activity.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. All right. Bird dogs and advocates. What is that? Anybody know what a bird dog is or an advocate?
Like your fan.
Yeah. So someone that's going to refer you business, someone that maybe already has or maybe you have a good, they're that like nosy neighbor that you want to stay in touch with because you think that, they're gonna know what's going on in the area. You want to figure out who those people are. And there may only be one, there may be two, who knows, okay? So you want to identify who they are. You want to cultivate them, okay? You want to reward them, okay? So you want to, like, if they do give you a referral, if they do tell you about something, send them a thank you note, send them a gift card, depending on what it is that they're doing for you, okay? And then you want to drip on them more frequently. So you definitely want to put them on a 33 touch. You want to put them on the 12 direct. Maybe, you friend them on Facebook, you see what they're doing, whatever, okay? And really get to kind of know those people, okay? All right. Any questions on that? Pretty simple, right? All right, so I'm glad Bill jumped on. He's gonna be like, why do I go to your class? Okay, so we talked about how great you are with door knocking and that you should do it all the time. Yeah, you're wicked good at it.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna put that on you right now. What I'm gonna ask you is, you just started a farm area, correct?
Yeah, after 10 years, imagine that.
Hey, 29 of my classes, you finally did it. Hey, it's better than 30, right? So
Right.
How is it going?
Pretty good.
All right, tell us about it. Tell us some of your
So-
wins.
Yeah, I've gotten 2 appointments from it.
Hmm. And how long have you been doing it?
Probably 6 months.
Hmm. And are you mailing every month, or have you skipped a couple months, or
No, every month,
every month?
postcard. Yeah.
Okay. And you've
And
had,
it was the phone calls. After the postcard goes out, I make the calls. And the 2 wins were 2 positive connections over the phone. And one resulted in a second appointment where the first one was I met with the wife, made the appointment. Their daughter just graduated from high school, and like, oh my gosh, yeah, we're ready to downsize. And I said, okay. And she let me tour the home with her. And then my follow-up was a second meeting with them, but this time her husband was there. And we talked a little bit more and basically about the market, and he kind of gave me his expectation of where he'd want to sell it at. And so they were giving that some more thought. And again, I continue to market them through the neighborhood thing, but phone calls out to them just to follow up. Just talked to her 2 days ago, and things are progressing on their end as far as he got a package to retire. So now they're figuring out, okay, what's our next step's going to be? But she said, I promise you, you will be the person we list with. We're just crunching some numbers now. So, I mean, it works. And my goal, I mean, all the money in terms of the postcards and postage and all, my goal was if I could get at least one listing out of it, it would be totally worth it.
yeah, you'll still have a return on investment, right? And
Right.
you had somebody else that you talked to, like when you first did your first mail, I think, and they asked you about like mortgage advice or something, right? Didn't they ask you for a mortgage referral or something?
Yes, yeah, we had that conversation. And so I, explained a little bit about the mortgage process, but then I gave them Bob Malone's contact information and suggested having a conversation with him and finding out, what would be the right direction to go on that.
Yeah. So again, you may not get a listing, but you may form a relationship with someone. They may need you to just get referrals from you. And that's fine too, because when you do that and you refer them to good people, then they're going to remember it. And then when they hear of somebody that's thinking about buying or selling, they're going to think of you. Like I said at the beginning when I started this, I mail in the neighborhood and I get listings, great, but I've also got referrals from people that are not selling their house, but they're referring me for people that they know with their family that live somewhere else. I'm fine with that too. I mean, I couldn't even, I could do all the stats and see what I sold in the neighborhood, how many I double-sided and all that, because I've double-sided, I think 6 of them. Could have been 7, but that's a different story. I had to refer it out because long story. But what was I saying? I want not just that, but I've gotten other business from just doing that outside of it. So it just isn't just those stats for there. It's all the other things that you get too. Because again, Gary introduced me to his brother, John. John introduced me to his other brother, David. So it's like, you know, it goes way outside of just the farm area.
But I want to be considered a valuable resource within
Right.
my farm neighborhood as a person to go to, even if they just have questions about something, or, you know, oh my gosh, the hot water heater just totally went on us. Do you happen to have a contact that can help us with this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
Right.
want them to think of me for all things, including real estate.
Exactly. And it's marketing too. You're marketing for yourself too.
Yeah.
Just so people know who you are when they see your signs and they see your open house signs and they Google or Facebook creep on you or something. You know, you want people to know who you are and what you do. Okay. Any questions? I do have on here, like second to last page, it just says some questions. What are some services you could offer to establish yourself as an expert? So again, you can write this kind of like homework stuff just to kind of get you prepared before you start. Like what services can set you apart? What can you offer? And then what are some of the actions you'll take to make your 12 direct plan more effective? So again, what are your action plans for that? So write those things down. Okay, just kind of give you a little bit more clarity. And then what are the 12 items that you might send or do as part of your 12 direct? So remember I talked about that growth calendar thing? You could just use this. Okay, because there's 12 things on here, so it's once a month. So what are you going to do every month? Okay. And there was something I said a couple minutes ago that I said we'll get back to that. We'll talk about it. Now I forget what it was. Anybody remember? Something popped in my head and now it's gone. No. All right. Anybody have any questions?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So, in the very beginning, you said, you know, you can farm an area or you can farm like a certain demographic.
Yep.
And that's kind of where I was leaning in the farming department. I'm afraid of like legalities that come with that. Like if you're farming like a certain age group or a certain, you know, Spanish speaking people or something like that, is there ever going to be an issue if you're like talking about, like if you're farming to these people with discrimination or any, like I'm just afraid of like something like that happening.
That's a great question.
Saying something that makes it seem like it's discrimination when really you're just looking for their business.
Great question. Can't answer you. I have no idea. I would be afraid to answer you, to be honest. I don't know. You know, farming is, you know, the geographic, the demographic farms, you know, and if you look at the second page that I put in the packet, it talks about like the other niches that you can do. So it's like single buyers, or you could do like, if you work with like a divorce attorney, that kind of thing. Pet friendly neighborhoods. If you want to work with investors, that's a group of people. That's a farm that you could just farm. And even though they're not together, you're farming sporadically, you know, sending mailings to different people, but it's still a group of investors. You know, waterfront, golf homes, that kind of thing. First time buyers is a farm. If you want to focus on first time buyers and do first time buyer, you know, events, classes or whatever. Condos, new construction is a farm area. Seniors is a farm area. As far as the discrimination, I don't know. It's a great question. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, I'm looking at it like as a farm area as far as like what I've been taught and what I know, but you know, you make a good point there. I don't know if it is. I mean, I guess I'd ask probably an attorney.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know. I'll look more into it and I'll let you know what I find out.
Because that's going to just throw the farming all on its head, you know, if that comes to it. But I mean, you know, whether you call it a farm or not, I mean, there are people that like are multilingual that focus on, you know, what their nationality is or whatever. It just is what it is because they can speak it, they know it, you know, they have more relationship, you know, building more relationships, and it's a win-win for them. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, like if I was to work, you know, if I was to go after a group of people that spoke a different, a second language, I can't communicate with them. Like I'm not doing them a good service, just trying to get their business so I could sell a house, right? So I don't know. It's a great question.
I'll let you know what I find out.
Yeah.
I'll look into it more.
Thank you. If not, if it's something that you bought, you're worried about, or you think it's gonna be an issue, then do bunch of streets. Now, getting back to that, if I should say too, we should have talked about this. So at the beginning, we talked about how to find the streets. This is the other thing. You have to do a lot of research, like backwards and frontwards, because what you want to do is when you're looking at all those streets, like let's say you put Main Street, South Street, West Augusta Street and North Street, I don't know, whatever, North, South, East, and West Streets, okay? And you look and you're like, okay, 8 homes are sold, right? But like they've all been on North Street and none of them been on the other 3 streets. You probably want to dump those 3 streets and put some other streets in there. Okay? Because the only reason it's showing up like that is because they're all on North Street. So you really have to look into it, is if it's a neighborhood, right? Then that's one thing. But if you're looking at a town that has just like streets, like I'm going to use these streets and this cross street, then you really got to look at what makes sense. Or if you're going to do like, I'm going to do like 3 main roads, because some of those main roads, like Liberty Street's like super long. Okay. There's like thousands of, because I don't know. But, you know, you want to look at that and say, you know, does that make sense? And are they, if I'm doing Liberty and Main and nothing sold on Main, and they're all selling on Liberty, maybe I do Liberty in another street, right? So you really have to look into it a little closer to make sure you're not just one of the streets is the one that has it all and the rest of them don't, because the rest of them don't make sense.
Right.
Right? Awesome. Anything else that you want to ask or add or stump me with?
Kristen?
Yes.
All right, just go to search. We put in single, condo, multifamily. We changed the off-market time frame to like 2 years, going backwards. Now, we're gonna put in specific streets that we want to use, not just the whole neighborhood, right? Presumably, we're gonna put in the streets on the neighborhood that we want to farm.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you want to do, like you could focus on just like if you're really good at multifamilies, maybe you pick a town, you know, that has a lot of multifamilies and then a lot of streets that have a lot of multifamilies, and then just pick those and just search for multifamilies. You could do that too. If that's kind of where you want to go, like, hey, I love doing multifamily stuff. Great. But if you know, if you want to do condos, and just click condos. If you want to do just single families, just click that. If you don't care if it has a single family or multifamily on the street, because it's maybe like a mixed use street, fine, put those too. And then just search that way. But you're gonna have to put the actual street names. Like I couldn't put Millbrook in there because one of the streets is called Millbrook. It wouldn't show me any other streets.
So I go to the town. So I'm looking at Randolph right now. Well, so go to the town and under address, I just put, it says street number. Do I need a street number?
No, nope. So like you want to look at a map too. You know, pull up a map and see what streets are in that area. Like if you know of a certain area that you want to kind of focus on, maybe you live there, right? So let's say if you want to go around where you live, right? So pull up your address and then look at the map and see what other streets are around there, and then write those streets down and then add them into your MLS under streets. So you can do a little bit of research here, but it's worth it. Take the time doing the research.
It's only one.
What's that?
Once it's done, it's done.
Exactly. And then you can add to it if you want to. Now, there was an agent in our office who isn't here with us anymore. She had a coach and she did a farm area. I think it was Weymouth, and it was on a main road. And she was farming it. Okay. And she talked to her coach. I don't think it was a good idea. And the coach told her to stop doing the farm. Like that it was a waste, she wasn't getting anything, blah, blah, blah. Now, remember what I said earlier, patience and consistency. I swear this happened. You can even ask her if you want. I'll tell you later who it was. She stopped doing it. And all of a sudden, all these houses kept popped up on the streets with different realtors, like Jack Conway, like all these different, like, none of her.
Oh,
yeah, sad, super sad. So have you ever seen that picture of like the coal miner, like, and he's digging for diamonds, and like there's one on the top and there's one on the bottom, and the guy on the top just keeps getting close, and the guy on the bottom gives up, and he's only got a couple more digs to do, and he would have hit the diamonds, but he's like, forget it, it's taking too long, so he stops. You have to think about that when you're doing this.
Mm.
That's why it's so important that you make sure the turnover's there, because if it's not, it's going to be so frustrating because you're going to be going years and years and not getting anything out of it. And that's really going to be frustrating, a waste of money. That's why the numbers is just so important. Okay. Awesome. Now, who wants to do this now? Anybody want to do it? Like, if you don't, it's totally fine. Okay, so who is like, forget it, I am not doing that now. Anybody like, did I scare anybody? Damn, nobody? Oh my gosh. No. Yeah, Bill, right? Yeah, I mean, again, what's that?
It's the perfect time to start right at the beginning of the year.
Exactly. Yeah, you can even your first, well, again, I would do your introduction, but like your second mailing could be what's sold in the neighborhood.
Right.
You know, do that as your third week. You know, put that together like the December 31st, like after everything closes. You'll have to look and see if there's anything under agreement too, right? And if it says anticipated close date and it's December 31st, and then maybe it doesn't close till January 2nd, you got to wait for that to close so you know how much it closed at, because you don't want to miss anything. Because what happens is if you sent that mailing out and you missed one of the houses on the street that closed at the end of the year, and the neighbors know that it closed and you didn't put on there, and they think you didn't know it closed, and they know more than you now, so why are they going to hire you? Youch. Okay, so don't be like, well, I gotta get out January 1st. No, wait for it to close. Who cares when you send it out? Like I said, I've sent mine out in February. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Okay, just do it. Okay, awesome. All right, well, I look forward to seeing you implement this, and you know, let me know if you guys do decide to do it, and while you're doing it, you know, reach out to me and let me know that you're doing it, and let me know how it's going. We'd love to hear, you know, how you're doing with it. Oh my goodness.
Kristen, you sent out a download, and for some reason, I don't know what's going on with my computer. I see the packet in the little chat box.
That's it.
But I can't download it. It says copy and select.
Click on it. Oops. Can you not click on it?
Now it comes up.
All right, hold on. I'll do it again.
I got it. Nope, I got it.
All right, awesome. Anybody else have anything that they want to add, share, ask?
I do real quick.
Okay.
So that situation that you posed earlier with the maybe like whatever the 8 that's sold in that one street, but the other 3 were kind of quiet. Would that deter you from doing that, even though that one street is so hot? Is it worth taking a hit on those other 3 for that one street alone?
No, I would still do the street that has all the sales. I just pick
move
other
on
streets.
otherwise.
Yeah, I would. So if it's north, south, east, and west street, and north is the only one that's had sales, and none of the others haven't since 07 or 1993, whatever, then I would just pick north, and then I would pick other streets.
So how far can you expand? You know what I mean? Like you don't want to get too far away from each other, right?
It's totally up to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally up to you. I mean, it really depends on the town and how things are set up. You know what I mean? Like some towns just have like, you know, like Quincy, right? It's like streets this way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, well, how far out do I go? Because, you know, like how many streets? So it's really going to just depend on like, you know, what your comfort zone is, if you're doing it because you live there or you used to live there or your parents live there or whatever the situation is, kind of go from there and like kind of branch out.
Okay.
I mean, again, at the end of the day, if you're doing like people that are renters, you know, they may have people in different areas in different towns, you know, or new construction, you could have builders obviously in different towns. So you're going to be kind of all over the place. That's fine. So you can do that too. It's all on what you want. I mean, I like to have something at least close by, you know what I mean? So like, at least that they know that I live there. I think that makes a big difference too. Either where you live or where you work, I think. Because if I like went and said, oh, I'm going to go do Plymouth, even though my sister-in-law lives there. I mean, oh, where do you live? Oh, I live in Rockland, like 45 minutes away. Like, gee, are they really going to be like, yeah, I'm going to call you kind of? They may be not, you know, even though I'm sending them stuff. You still want them to have, like, you want them to know that you know the area and you know what you're talking about. Awesome.
Thank
All
you,
right, everyone.
Kristen.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope you found some value out of this hour and a half.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kristen.
All right,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. See you guys.
Hi, Kristen.
Bye.
Bye.
Kristen, I missed the first 10 minutes. Can you send me the file, please?
It's in the chat box.
I missed the first 10 minutes. So, but I don't see
Oh,
that.
so you can't see? All right, let me do it again. Hold on. We'll pull it up.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Here we go. All right. Can you see it?
Got it. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Have a good one. Bye.